Hi everybody and welcome to How Websites Work. Let's begin. By the end of this room, you'll know how websites are created and will be introduced to some basic security issues. When you visit a website, your browser, like Safari or Google Chrome, makes a request to a web server asking for information about the page you're visiting. It will respond with data that your browser uses to show you the page. A web server is just a dedicated computer somewhere else in the world that handles your requests. There are two major components that make up a website: front-end, client-side, the way your browser renders a website, and back-end, server-side, a server that processes your requests and returns a response. There are many other processes involved in your browser making a request to a web server, but for now, you just need to understand that you make a request to a server and it responds with data your browser uses to render information to you. Now let's answer the question, what term best describes the side your browser renders a website? And that will be client-side. Okay, and now on to the next task, HTML. Websites are primarily created using HTML to build websites and define their structure, CSS to make websites look pretty by adding styling options, and JavaScript to implement complex features on pages using interactivity. Hypertext Markup Language, or HTML, is the language websites are written in. Elements, also known as tags, are the building blocks of HTML pages and tells the browser how to display content. The code snippet below shows a simple HTML document, the structure of which is the same for every website. And we can see that right here. The HTML structure, as shown in the screenshot, has the following components. The doc type declaration defines that the page is a HTML5 document. This helps with standardization across different browsers and tells the browser to use HTML5 to interpret the page. The HTML element is the root element of the HTML page. All other elements come after this element. The head element contains information about the page, such as the page title. The body element defines the HTML document's body. Only content inside of the body is shown in the browser. The H1 heading element defines a large heading. The paragraph element defines a paragraph. There are many other elements or tags used for different purposes. For example, there are tags for buttons, images, lists, and much more. Tags can contain attributes such as the class attribute, which can be used to style an element, like we see right here, or the SRC attribute or source attribute, which is used on images to specify the location of an image, like we see right here. An element can have multiple attributes, each with its own unique purpose. For example, the paragraph element that we see right here, that is supposed to have two different attributes, each attribute with its own value, right? Elements can also have an ID attribute, which is unique to the element. Unlike the class attribute, where multiple elements can use the same class, an element must have different IDs to identify them uniquely. Element IDs are used for styling and to identify it by JavaScript. You can view the HTML of any website by right-clicking and selecting View Page Source in Chrome and Show Page Source in Safari. I'm on Firefox, so I need to click on View Page Source, and there you go. It's that simple. Okay, now let's continue. Let's play with some HTML. On the right-hand side, you should see a box that renders HTML, and I don't because I first have to click on View Sites, so there you go. Okay, so on the right hand side, you should see a box that renders HTML. If you enter some HTML into the box and click the green Render HTML Code button, it will render your HTML on the page. So down here, you should see an image of some cats. Okay, right now we see only one image, but that's okay. We are going to fix that in a few moments. So first, let's click on Completed here. Okay, and now one of the images on the cat website is broken. That's correct. Fix it and the image will reveal the hidden text answer. Okay, so here we need to add the file type to the second image right here, which is JPG. Okay, so let's fix that by typing in JPG, and then we click on Render HTML Code. And there you go. Now we have the second image show up on the page. And here is our answer, which is HTML hero. Let's type that in. So HTML hero, and we click on submit, and voila. Okay, so add a dog image to the page by adding another image tag on line 11. The dog image location is the one that we see right here. What is the text in the dog image? Okay, so let's find out. So let's copy that. And we are going to delete this and create the image element. So image. And then we add the source attribute. And we have the single quotes. And we type in the image path. So we paste that in, and let's close the image tag like this and render HTML code, and there you go. Now we have the image of a dog with our answer. So dog HTML. Let's type that in and we submit, and there you go. Okay, let's move on to the next task, which is JavaScript. JavaScript is one of the most popular coding languages in the world and allows pages to become interactive. HTML is used to create the website structure and content, while JavaScript is used to control the functionality of web pages. Without JavaScript, a page would not have interactive elements and would always be static. JavaScript can dynamically update the page in real time, giving functionality to change the style of a button when a particular event on the page occurs, such as when a user clicks a button, or to display moving animations. JavaScript is added within the page source code and can be either loaded within the script tags or can be included remotely with the source attribute. And here we have a little example. The following JavaScript code finds a HTML element on the page with the ID of demo and changes the element's contents to hack the planet. HTML elements can also have events such as onClick or onHover that execute JavaScript when the event occurs. The following code changes the text of the element with the demo ID to button clicked. OnClick events can also be defined inside the JavaScript tags and not on elements directly. Okay, so click the View Site button on this task. On the right hand side, add JavaScript that changes the demo element's content to hack the planet. Okay, let's click on View Site first. Okay, so this is what we need to change. We need to change that to hack the planet, and it's very simple. We can just copy the line of code right here, and we paste it right here between the opening and closing tags of the script elements. So there you go, we've pasted it in, and now let's click on the render button and see what happens. This is supposed to change to hack the planet. Okay, so let's click on the render button, and it changed. Perfect. Now let's copy the answer and paste it right here and submit. Awesome. And now add the button HTML from this task that changes the element's text to button clicked on the editor on the right. Update the code by clicking the render HTML plus JavaScript code button and then click the button. Okay. So what we need to do here is just copy this line of code so that we can create the button they're asking us to create. So we copy, and this time we're not going to paste the line of code between the opening and closing tags of the script element, but we're going to paste that line of code below the closing tag of the script element. Okay, so we paste it right here, and now we are going to click on the render button. Okay, we can just click on OK here first, and then we can see right here that we have the click me button in place. So when I click on that button, the string that we have right here, hack the planet, is going to change to button clicked. Okay, so let's see if that happens. So click me, and there you go, button clicked. Perfect. Now let's move on to the next task, which is sensitive data exposure. Okay, let's just close this one and open the task. Okay, sensitive data exposure occurs when a website doesn't properly protect or remove sensitive clear text information to the end user, usually found in a site's front-end source code. We now know that websites are built using many HTML elements, all of which we can see simply by viewing the page source. A website developer may have forgotten to remove login credentials, hidden links to private parts of the website, or other sensitive data shown in HTML or JavaScript. Sensitive information can be potentially leveraged to further an attacker's access within different parts of a web application. For example, there could be HTML comments with temporary login credentials, and if you viewed the page's source code and found this, you could use these credentials to log in elsewhere on the application, or worse, used to access other backend components of the site. Whenever you're assessing a website application for security issues, one of the first things you should do is review the page source code to see if you can find any exposed login credentials or hidden links. View the website on this task. What is the password hidden in the source code? Okay, let's find out. Okay, so what we can do here is just right-click someplace here in this area where we type in our username and password. So I'll click just right here, click on inspect, and what we need to do is look for a comment that has the password inside that comment. And here we have it, actually right below the code for the login button, right? So here's the comment in green color. Okay, so here is the password that we are trying to find, which is test password. Okay, so let's type that in here and move on to the next task. So submit, there you go. And now let's move on to the next task, which is HTML injection. Okay. HTML injection is a vulnerability that occurs when unfiltered user input is displayed on a page. If a website fails to sanitize user input, filter any malicious text that a user inputs into a website, and that input is used on a page, an attacker can inject HTML code into a vulnerable website. Input sanitization is very important in keeping a website secure, as information a user inputs into a website is often used in other front-end and back-end functionality. A vulnerability you explore in another lab is database injection, where you can manipulate a database lookup query to log in as another user by controlling the input that's directly used in a query. But for now, let's focus on HTML injection, which is client-side. When a user has control of how their input is displayed, they can submit HTML or JavaScript code, and the browser will use it on the page, allowing the user to control the page's appearance and functionality. The image above shows how a form outputs text to the page. Whatever the user inputs into the What's Your Name field is passed to a JavaScript function and output to the page, which means if the user adds their own HTML or JavaScript in the field, it's used in the say hi function and is added to the page. This means you can add your own HTML, such as a h1 tag, and it will output your input as pure HTML. The general rule is never to trust user input. To prevent malicious input, the website developer should sanitize everything the user enters before using it in the JavaScript function. In this case, the developer could remove any HTML tags. Now let's answer the question. View the website on this task and inject HTML so that a malicious link to this URL is shown. Okay, so we can just click on View Site. Okay, so now let's create that link, that malicious link. So for that, we can use the anchor elements. Okay, so let's create one. So we can begin with the opening tag of the anchor element, and we can also add the closing tag right away. And now inside the opening tag of the anchor element, we add the href attribute. And what we are going to use as the value of the href attribute is the malicious link, right, that we have right here. So let's copy that, and we're going to paste it right in here between the single quotes. And now we can just add some text that somebody can click on and go to the malicious URL. So we can type in click here, for example, and then we click on say hi, and there you go. So now we have the link here. So if somebody clicks on that, they're going to be, sent to hacker.com, which is not good. Okay, so yeah, so here's our answer. So let's copy that, and we click on OK, and we type in the answer, and we submit, and we are done with this room. Okay, everybody, thank you for watching. If you found the video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more videos on TryHackMe. Okay, everybody, talk to you next time.